All right, so this is our Zoom group discussion. So we're just talking about the prep sheet here and talking about like race becoming salient. Um, I actually, when I was writing this, my girlfriend had come over and she like glanced over my shoulder. She was like, she started almost quoting our textbook, and I was like, "Yes, I understand this. Thank you. I literally just read this, but this is not what the question's asking. It's salient for us. So like when's the first time race became apparent to you, I guess? Like when was your first experiencing a black guy? Like I don't fully understand how to interpret this question, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't know. I think um for me, it was probably moving out to actually Idaho, which again is not super diverse, but it was still more diverse than where I grew up.
Where did you
And
grow up?
I grew up in Miller, Missouri,
Okay.
and there were like two kids of another race at my school, but I never thought of them as being any different, you know,
Sure.
and it wasn't a characteristic I even thought about, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you went to Idaho, was it even more diverse?
It was a little bit more diverse,
Population than two?
but I also had like a roommate who he was mixed,
Okay.
um, and one of his girlfriend's dads called him a mutt, and that was I was like kind of threw me off because I
Yeah.
never race had never been a defining characteristic that I'd ever thought of, but
The first
I
time I
noticed.
had, yeah, the first time I had like interracial, like, or different race, in my apartment kind of thing, like the first time I lived with other people other than a white guy kind of thing. I was
Yeah.
18 and I was living in Salt Lake. So we had an interesting mixture of like there was an Indian dude and a guy who I don't know what he was. He was big. So he was very tall. I think he was like 7'2". But um yeah, see even now like I can't even fully remember what their race is. And even like the Indian guy, like I feel like I refer like which is kind of the second question, honestly. Um let's see. No, it's the third one. I'm gonna jump to this third one real quick. It's like think about a time when you were cognizant and tint of your own race and when race became a relevant element of your social interaction. Um is like I don't think I like, even when I think back to him, I was like, no, I just refer to him as like, oh yeah, the guy who came from India. Like it's not a racial thing as much as where he was from ethnically and like
Or even just my roommate,
right.
but um,
Yeah, I mean like I had five roommates and it's like, oh yeah, like I don't know. Some of them were from different countries. I'm from a different country. I was born in Ukraine. So but
yeah,
um so when it became a relevant element of social interaction, have you this is going to be a terrible question, and I am being recorded, but have you ever been like stopped by the police with somebody of a different race?
I have not.
I haven't either, I realized. I had one kind of moment that was close to it, but the guy apparently already had a warrant, and I didn't know him. I just happened to be in the same vicinity. Uh,
Hmm.
a long story. I'm not going to share it on a Zoom call that's going to be watched by a teacher. But but like the closest I've come to is just like interacting with, you know, white cops and black cops. But that's like they're just police officers. There's no difference. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't feel like I end up in situations where I have to be cognizant and bleh, cognizant of my own race because
Yeah.
it's all situations are just like we're all just people in a situation, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird question. I was watching a basketball game movie on Netflix, one of those like inspiring stories about, kid who grows up. Oh, I think it's Calvin it's Kaepernick. What's
Oh, yeah.
Colin Kaepernick's movie on Netflix. And like
Yeah.
that movie, honestly, I feel like is the epitome of these questions because he grew up with white parents and then goes out to like hotels and stuff where racial injustice was way more prevalent in these small white towns growing up for him. And like they are terrible to him at the hotels, but overlook anything the white people are doing. And it's like, wait, hold on. These it should just be people at the hotel or people on the basketball team. And that's what I feel like in my own situations and in my own life, that's what it's always been. There's never been
Yeah.
any sort of issue.
Hmm. Like the most I've ever had to think about like my own race is when I'm like filling out like a job application
Right.
or a couple. It's
Yep.
like, what's your race? And it's like, I'm white, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yep. No, interesting questions, but I don't know. I didn't have too many thoughts on it overall. Um, uh, let's see. No, I'm not noticing anything else that we really have to cover here, so I will let you be. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Are you in Utah?
I'm in Idaho.
In Idaho? Do you go to school in online fully or in person as well?
I do two in-person classes this semester.
That's cool. I am in Maryland, so
Yep.
well, good to meet you. See you next week, I guess.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Bye.